The American Express Gold is one of the most powerful cards out there, but it's not for everyone. Today we'll do a deep dive review on the card, look at the annual fees and credits, and pretty much all the pros and cons. Big favor before you dive in is to hit the like button to help with the algorithm. It surprisingly does help, and if you know anyone that's on the fence, then share this with them. Starting off with the intro bonus, you're going to get positive value in year 1 if you can hit the minimum spend. Right now, the public offer is 60,000 membership reward points after 6,000 spends in the first 6 months. Offer here ends November 6, 2024. In addition, you're getting 20% back in statement credits for restaurant spending worldwide within the first 6 months, up to 100 back. That means that if you can spend 500 on restaurants in that period, then you'll hit the $100 ceiling. The thing though is that you might be able to find a better offer. A lot of people have been pulling 90k points or better with the 20% component still using Card Match. We do have a post on this and it should pop up if you Google Card Match Ask Sebi, and I'll also link it down below. Long term, the annual fee and credits become a bigger factor, especially because for some people, it's not really going to make sense. The gold card does have a $325 annual fee, which is on the high end for a mid-level card. At the same time, you do have up to $424 in credits to help offset that fee. On your end, you pretty much need to figure out what you can reasonably value and which ones you would actually use. Also note that you do have to enroll in all of these, so log in and click the button. The first of the credits is going to be up to $120 for dining, that's broken down into up to $10 per month. The partners as of filming are Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, and Five Guys. For Mandy and I, the easiest to use is Grubhub. The catch though is finding something that doesn't have an inflated price. A lot of my normal go-to options are in Grubhub, and let's look at 2 of them. First one is Rome, which has some pretty good burgers, and I normally get the Heritage. That's going to run $15.50. Through Grubhub, the same burger is $17.83, so $2.23 more. In that case, I'd either find somewhere else, or if I'm using it there, then discount the credit. Another one I really like is Banh Mi. My go-to here is the combo Banh Mi for $12.50, and it's a great lunch option. That's directly, and if I go through Grubhub, it's the same $12.50. In this case, $10 is $10, and you're not paying a premium. Continuing with dining, another credit is Resi. Here you get up to $50 semi-annually, so up to $100 annually. As long as you use your card at one of their network restaurants, you're good to go. You don't have to make reservations or book through a special link or anything else. So pretty much just find a restaurant you like and go there. It does lean towards mid to high end, but there are a lot of affordable options. So for example, Mandy's from Texas, and whenever she's craving soul food, we go to Brenda's. If you are looking for fancier options though, then there are a ton of those, and it'll probably range between $30 to $100 per person. At the same time, if you live in the suburbs, it can be a lot tougher. So for example, we have a family friend that lives in Sugarland in Houston, and there is one Resi option, and the rest are downtown. They don't really go downtown, so they are pretty much forced to go to the Keeper's sushi place. Not ideal, but at least it is semi-annual, which makes it a lot less annoying. In contrast, one that might be a bit more abrasive is up to $7 per month for Dunkin's and up to $84 per year. So I feel like if we were still living in Boston or Cambridge, then this is super easy, or if we were living in New York. On the West Coast, it's a lot tougher. For example, Los Angeles proper only has 16, and even if you add in Culver City, Long Beach, Manhattan Beach, and even Compton, it's a pretty small number. In comparison, New York City has 171. Arguably the capital of Dunkin's, Boston has 65. Your perception of this credit very much depends on where you live. Even at a statewide level, the numbers can be pretty jarring. So for example, Maryland has almost twice as much as California. The entire state of Utah has 1. If you're in Seattle or the entire Northwest, then you're pretty much out of luck. Location plus the fact that some people don't like coffee or donuts makes this a pretty iffy credit. One easy one is up to $10 in Uber Cash every month, totaling up to $120. All you need to do is add your gold card to your Uber account and you're good to go. It does expire monthly, so you cannot save it. If you travel and you take Ubers to the airport, then this is pretty easy. Otherwise, you can do Uber Eats for pickup. Exactly the same strategy as Grubhub pickup. You want to find options where it's not inflated. Adding in the dining, Resi, Dunkin, and Uber credit, you have up to $424 total. Even if you ignore the Dunkin credit entirely, it's still up to $340 per year. I'd happily pay a $325 annual fee to get up to $340 in credits and the other features of the card. I use Uber, and the Resi and Grubhub options are places I go to anyways. In my case, the tangible credits are higher than the annual fee, making it a keeper card. Your numbers are probably going to be different, and that's where multipliers come in. For this part, I'd recommend playing off a calculator just to make life easier because there are a lot of moving components. It should pop up if you Google Ask Sebi Gold Worth It. Pretty much lets you punch in your spend numbers to figure out the points you earn and what they're worth depending on how you want to use them. Also how you value the credits that we talked about earlier. Hopefully helpful. If you run the numbers and the cards that fit and you want to learn more, we do have that card match link to see if you have the elevated offer. Using that link is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Let's talk about multipliers. The gold card is one of the stronger earners out there. It's pretty much a workhorse for your everyday spend. This means that it's going to play a role in a lot of your transactions. If you're someone that likes food, whether eating out or at home, this card is well worth considering. You're going to get 4x on restaurants on up to $50K in spend per year. You're also getting 4x at US supermarkets on up to $25K in spend per year. Past those thresholds, it's 1x back. This is on the top range of cards. There are some that do a bit better, but there's a lot of caveats. So for example, the City Custom Cash has 5% back, which is 5x thank you points, but that's only on the top spend category of a giant list, and it's up to 500 in spend per billing cycle. If anything, people tend to stick to Custom Cash on either gas or live entertainment. Another factor is that the gold card earns American Express membership reward points, which have a lot of upside. Of the 4 horsemen of transferable points of Amex, Citi, Chase, and Capital One, I would argue that the gold card is a step above the competition for those categories. Amex and Chase are pretty much tied for number 1 for the value of those points, and Chase is only really there due to Hyatt. Back to the gold card, you're also earning 3x on flights, booked directly with airlines or on AmexTravel.com. Also 2x on prepaid hotels and other travel, booked through AmexTravel.com. For everything else, it's 1x back. The latter categories are fine, but if you are doing a lot of travel, I would probably opt for a different card, like the Platinum or something from Chase or Capital One. Overall, though, solid multipliers, and the 4x ones are the key ones. One bonus benefit is the hotel collection. We actually just used this in Hawaii a week ago, and it was pretty awesome. Bookings are a minimum of 2 nights, and you get a $100 experience credit and other benefits. So for our stay at the Prince Hotel, we got upgraded to higher floor that had a great view. Also had free breakfast for 2 people per night for our stay. With the $100 credit, we ended up buying some fancy coffee, and even though the prices look pretty aggressive, they are the same as direct. It's just expensive coffee, and apparently we were not supposed to be allowed to use the credit for that, but the front desk made an exception. Options on the hotel collection are a bit more mid-level, so I'd say about $200 to $400 per night. If anything, that's the sweet spot for us for out-of-pocket, especially when we are trying to enjoy the destination more than the property. For more expensive stays that are, let's say, $1,000 to $2,000 per night, we generally opt for points. For example, the Grand Hyatt Kauai, which is what I would consider a sweet spot. If you do want to check out that video, that's going to be over on the Mandy Rome's channel. For the hotel collection, the credit is per stay, so you're not really forced to use it. Best case, you get value and you end up using their service a ton. Worst case, it's there, but doesn't hurt you. Okay, so what are the pros and cons of the card? The pros are pretty strong. You have great multipliers, it can be heavily subsidized, and it might be a keeper card for some people. In year 1, the intro bonus doesn't hurt either. In terms of cons, you do have a high annual fee for a mid-tier card. Even though there are a lot of credits, if you live in the suburbs or for some other cities, they're going to be harder to use. This brings us to the ultimate question. Should you get this card? If you value the credits, then yes. So for us, the card makes sense because the credits are higher than the annual fee. We're not forcing ourselves to use Uber or to go to places that we normally wouldn't go. If you spend a ton on the 4x categories, then that's also a yes. And the interesting thing is that it might make sense even if you don't value the credits. So for example, if you spend, let's say, $1,000 eating out every month and $500 on groceries, $1,500 times 12 times 4x, that's 72,000 points per year. It depends on how you want to use the points, but it should outweigh the annual fee. For most people, it's probably going to be something in between the two, and that's where the calculator can help. If you don't care about the Dunkin's credit, then mark it at 0, and if you want to value Resi at 50 cents on the dollar, then you can do that as well. For me, and I think a lot of people, this is the king of food cards. Your mileage may vary though, so do what makes sense for you. If you made it here, leave a crown emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions. Number 1, what are your thoughts on the updated gold card? Number 2, how do you plan to use the credits? And number 3, how much do you spend for those 4x categories? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite, thumbs up, consider subscribing, share this with a friend, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.